Alex, can I say something a little embarrassing?
Always.
Last week, I met someone at a coffee shop, an American guy, very friendly. He started talking to me, and I just froze. I understood everything he said, every single word. But when I tried to reply, nothing came out. I just smiled and nodded like I was a bobblehead.
Oh no.
It gets worse. He asked me, "So where are you from?" And I said, and I'm not joking, yes. I said yes to a where question.
Oh, Sam.
I've been studying English for 10 years. 10 years! And I said yes to where are you from? I wanted to disappear.
You know what? I think every single person listening to this right now has a story like that. Maybe not exactly that story, but something close. The frozen moment. The blank mind. The words that just vanish.
Why does that happen, though? Seriously. I know grammar. I know vocabulary. I've watched hundreds of English videos. Why can't I just speak?
That is exactly what we're going to talk about today. And I promise you, by the end of this episode, you're not going to feel like something is wrong with you, because nothing is wrong with you. The way most people learn English is just set up to fail.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's actually happening? Why do people know English but can't speak it?
Let me ask you something first. When you were learning English in school, what did you do most of the time?
Grammar exercises, memorizing vocabulary lists, reading textbooks, maybe some writing.
Did anyone ever make you have a real conversation? Like a normal conversation, where you had to think on your feet?
No, never. We had dialogues where we read from a script, but those were fake. Everyone knew what was coming next.
Right, and that's the problem. That is the core problem. Most English education in the world teaches you about English. It doesn't teach you to use English.
What's the difference?
Think about swimming. You can read every book about swimming. You can memorize every technique. You can watch Olympic swimmers for years. But if you've never actually been in the water, you will not know how to swim when you jump in.
Oh, that's actually a really good comparison.
Language works the same way. Your brain has two different systems. One system is for knowledge, grammar rules, vocabulary definitions, writing. It's slow and careful. The other system is for real-time communication, speaking, listening in a live conversation. That system is built through practice, not study.
So when I'm speaking, my brain is trying to use the wrong system?
Exactly. Your slow, careful system keeps jumping in, checking your grammar, searching for the right word, second-guessing yourself. And by the time it figures everything out, the moment is gone.
That's why I said yes to where are you from? I was so busy checking my sentence in my head that I pressed the wrong button.
Precisely. And here's the painful part. The more you study grammar without speaking practice, the stronger that slow, careful system gets. So in a way, too much traditional studying can actually make speaking harder.
That feels deeply unfair.
It is. But the good news is, it's fixable. And it's not your fault that no one taught you this before.
So let's talk about the specific struggles, because I feel like there's more than just one thing going on. You're right, there are a few big ones that almost everyone experiences. Let's go through them. Okay, first one for me is this. I translate in my head. I think in my language first, then I translate to English, and it's so slow.
That's one of the most common things, and it makes total sense, because when you learned English, you learned it through your first language. You saw apple and thought, oh, that means apple in my language. So your brain created a connection. Your language first, English second.
Right, it's like English is a detour.
Exactly. And the only way to remove that detour is to start thinking in English directly, which feels impossible at first, but it becomes natural over time. Start small. Think about your morning routine in English. What did you eat for breakfast? Describe your room in English in your head. Just small thoughts, no pressure.
That sounds actually doable. Okay, the second struggle I have, and this one really hurts, is that I'm afraid of making mistakes. Like, I'll stop mid-sentence because I'm not sure if my grammar is correct.
Fear of mistakes. This one is huge. And I think it comes from how most of us were taught. In school, making a mistake meant losing marks. The teacher corrected you in front of everyone. So your brain learned that making an English mistake is dangerous, embarrassing, even shameful.
Yes, I actually remember a teacher who would sigh loudly every time someone made an error, and after a while, no one wanted to speak anymore.
That's a real thing. And the damage from that kind of learning stays with people for years. But here's the truth. Native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time. Communication is not about being perfect. It's about being understood.
So the goal isn't perfect English. The goal is clear English.
Exactly. And clear English is very achievable. Even with a simple vocabulary and imperfect grammar, you can communicate powerfully.
Third struggle. And maybe this is just me. I know words when I read them, but when I'm speaking, I can't find them. They just disappear.
That's called passive vocabulary versus active vocabulary. You have two kinds of word knowledge. Passive, words you recognize when you see or hear them. Active, words you can actually use when you speak or write.
And most people have way more passive vocabulary than active.
Exactly right. You might recognize 5,000 English words, but maybe only 500 of those are truly active, ready to come out when you need them. The way to convert passive words to active is to use them. Say them out loud. Use them in sentences. Write them. The word has to travel from your reading memory to your speaking memory.
So it's not that I don't know the words, it's that they're stuck in the wrong drawer.
That is a perfect way to put it. Stuck in the wrong drawer.
One more struggle. Confidence. Even when I know the words and the grammar is okay, I still feel small. Like, who am I to speak English? It's not my language.
Oh, that's a deep one. And I hear it so often. This feeling that English somehow belongs to certain people from certain countries, certain backgrounds. And that feeling, it's not true, but it can be paralyzing.
Where does it come from?
Partly from history, partly from media. We grow up watching movies where perfect American accents are portrayed as intelligent and sophisticated. And so we feel that our accented English is somehow lesser. But here's something important. Over 1 billion people speak English as a second language, and most of them, most of us, speak it with an accent. An accent is not a flaw. It's a story. It tells people where you're from.
I never thought of it that way. My accent is a story.
Exactly. And the most important English skill in the real world is not accent. It's clarity, confidence, and connection.
Okay, so we've talked about all these problems. Now, I really want to know, what do we actually do about it?
Good. Let's talk about real changes. Not tips on a list, just things that actually work. Explain the way I wish someone had explained them to me.
Please.
The first shift is this. Stop studying English and start living in English. There's a difference. Studying is passive. You're taking information in. Living in English means you use it as a tool in your actual daily life.
What does that look like practically?
Change your phone to English. Watch shows in English, but don't just watch. Pause and repeat lines out loud. Listen to English podcasts during your commute or while you're doing dishes. The goal is to surround yourself with the language so much that your brain starts treating it as normal, not foreign.
So it's about exposure, but active exposure, not passive.
Right. And here's the second shift. Start speaking before you feel ready. Most people wait until they feel confident to start speaking, but confidence in speaking comes from speaking, not from studying more. It's a loop. You have to enter the loop.
But what if there's no one to speak with?
Speak to yourself. Seriously, narrate your day in English. Stand in front of a mirror and describe what you see. Record yourself on your phone and play it back. It feels weird at first, but it works. Your brain doesn't care if the conversation partner is a real person or your reflection.
That is both helpful and slightly alarming.
A little, yes, but it works. The third shift, and this might be the most important one. Stop trying to speak in perfect sentences.
Say more about that.
When most learners speak, they try to construct a perfect sentence in their head before saying it. Subject, verb, object, tense, preposition, all correct. And while they're constructing this sentence, the conversation moves on and they say nothing. Instead, train yourself to start speaking and figure it out as you go.
But doesn't that mean making more mistakes?
Yes, and that's fine. Native speakers do it constantly. We start sentences and change direction midway. We use simple words instead of complex ones. We say and well and you know. These are not signs of bad English. They're signs of real human English.
So being imperfect is actually more natural.
Completely. And the fourth thing? Find language that matters to you. Don't study vocabulary from a generic list. Learn words from topics you genuinely care about. If you love cooking, learn English through cooking videos. If you love football, watch football commentary in English. When language connects to something you love, it sticks.
That explains why I remember words from TV shows better than from textbooks.
Exactly. Emotion is memory. When you feel something while hearing a word, your brain holds on to it.
Okay, I love this. Before we wrap up, can we give our listeners something to actually do today?
Yes, here's the challenge. It's small. You can do it right now, after this episode ends.
What is it?
Take out your phone, open the voice recorder, set a timer for 2 minutes, and just talk, in English, about your day, what you did this morning, what you're going to do later. It doesn't have to be interesting. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just talk for 2 minutes without stopping.
And if you run out of things to say?
Then describe the room you're sitting in. Talk about the last thing you ate. Anything. The goal isn't content. The goal is to hear your own voice speaking English for 2 solid minutes.
And when you're done, you don't have to share it with anyone. It's just for you.
Exactly. This is your private practice space. No judgment, no grades, just you and the language.
I'm going to do this tonight. Actually, I'm going to do it as soon as this episode ends.
That's the spirit.
Okay, let's do a quick recap. What were the main things we covered today?
First, there's nothing wrong with you. The reason most people can't speak English after years of studying is because they were taught to know English, not to use it. Those are 2 completely different things.
Second, your brain has 2 systems, a slow, careful one for studying, and a fast, real-time one for speaking. Most learners only train the first one.
Third, the common struggles, translating in your head, fear of mistakes, passive versus active vocabulary, and confidence. All of these are normal. All of them can be changed.
And the solutions. Live in English, not just study it. Start speaking before you feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect sentence. And connect the language to things you actually love.
And the 2-minute voice recorder challenge. Do it today.
Don't skip it. Seriously. 2 minutes. You've got this.
Below are 10 intermediate level words from today's episode. Study the meaning, read the example sentence, and then answer the speaking question out loud. 1. Freeze. Meaning, to suddenly stop and be unable to move or speak. Example, I froze when the teacher asked me a question in English. Speaking question, have you ever frozen in a conversation? What happened? 2. Paralyzing, meaning so frightening or overwhelming that you cannot act. Example, the fear of making mistakes was paralyzing for many students. Speaking question, what is something that feels paralyzing for you when learning? 3. Passive, meaning receiving without actively doing anything, not active. Example, I had a large passive vocabulary but couldn't speak well. Speaking question, what English words do you know passively but can't use yet? 4. Convert, meaning to change something from one form to another. Example, reading aloud helps convert passive words to active ones. Speaking question, how do you convert new words into words you can actually use? 5. Exposure, meaning being in contact with something regularly over time. Example, daily exposure to English shows helped improve my listening. Speaking question, what is your main source of English exposure right now? 6. Precise, meaning exact and accurate, using exactly the right words. Example, he gave a precise explanation of the grammar rule. Speaking question, can you give a precise description of where you are right now? 7. Narrate, meaning to describe events as they happen, often out loud. Example, she narrated her morning routine in English for practice. Speaking question, can you narrate what you are doing at this exact moment? 8. Clarity, meaning the quality of being clear and easy to understand. Example, clarity in speaking matters more than perfect grammar. Speaking question, how would you rate the clarity of your English speaking? 9. Sophisticated, meaning having a refined, complex, or advanced quality. Example, a sophisticated accent is not required to speak well. Speaking question, do you think you need to sound sophisticated to be respected? 10. Paralyze, meaning to prevent someone from acting or thinking clearly. Example, overthinking can paralyze a learner mid-conversation. Speaking question, has overthinking ever paralyzed you while speaking English? Before we go, I want to say something directly to anyone who has been hard on themselves about this. If you've been studying English for years and still feel like you can't speak, please hear this. You are not behind. You are not slow. You are not bad at languages.
You were just taught the wrong way. That's not your fault.
Language is a living thing. It grows through use, through connection, through real moments, not through textbook pages. And every single person who speaks a second language fluently today went through exactly the same confusion, the same fear, the same frozen moments you're experiencing.
Even you, Alex?
Especially me. I remember the first time I had to give a presentation in English. I had rehearsed for 3 weeks, and when the moment came, my mind went completely blank. I stood in front of 30 people and forgot my own name.
No way.
True story. I stood there for what felt like an hour, was probably about 8 seconds, and then I just said, "Sorry, let me start over." And I did. And it was okay.
And now look at you, hosting an English podcast.
The path isn't straight. It's not smooth, but it is real. And it goes forward. That's all you need to know right now.
I feel genuinely better after this conversation, and I think our listeners will too.
I hope so. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, keep living in English, and remember that imperfect English spoken with courage is always better than perfect English kept silent.
That's going on my wall. Bye, everyone.
If this video helped you, even a little, please subscribe. Not for the numbers, but so that next time you're having a frozen moment, this podcast shows up and reminds you, you are not behind. You just need more practice, and we are here for that. Subscribe, leave a comment with your frozen moment story. See you next video.